Production.
What's poppin'? Glxy Squad, it's been a while. I'm going to get into this real quick and explain to you guys in the next few videos, the reason why I've been MIA the past few months. Your boy's definitely been charting still, so it's not like I've given this up or anything like that. I just taken some time to focus on myself and kind of re-image myself and rebrand things, because I'm going to be adding a lot of new things to this YouTube channel that I'm really excited about. So let's get to it. Right back to these videos like normal. Glxy Digital Holdings. It's been a while since I've posted a video about this stock. Let's get this straight out of the clear. First and foremost, the thesis is so intact it's not even funny. So if you're new to this, if you haven't seen my videos in a while, go back, watch the previous Glxy videos, because everything is still intact. Everything I said in the past is pretty much, not that I'm not saying I'm a crystal ball, but like the ideas and the thesis is still in play, which means nothing has changed that much. If anything, things have only really gotten better. We're starting to see a little bit of price increase, right? So a lot of the videos I was making saying gather as many shares down here in this 475 range, right? This $5 range, it's now paying off. We're in the green. We're in the money, right? So what can we do now? What should we expect now? Well, we see here we have continuous higher lows, right? So the trends that have been going on are still intact. That's beautiful, right? We want that. What can we expect next? Things like this is such a easy stock to watch right now, right? We had this major low, we come up to this resistance point, we create a higher low, back into the resistance point, create a higher low. Look at this, right? We create a new higher high, weekly, monthly higher high. We come back, revisit, because we couldn't hold above this zone, right? $5.80 seems to be a major resistance here, right? We eventually broke up over it. We couldn't hold for several weeks, so we came back. We retested this level and we created a higher low, right? So as you can see, this trend line on the bottom trend line has 1, 2, 3, 4 solid touches here, okay? Now, we have a bunch of news about Glxy buybacks. I'm assuming the last earnings call. I've heard great things off the Twitter feed. I have been so busy. I have trouble, making time to watch these things, which is fine. To me, it's no difference. The technical analysis, in my opinion, is telling me everything. But anyways, I digress. So a bunch of buybacks, a bunch of good news from the earnings call. We got the Bitcoin ETFs that are soon to be, from what we understand, right, from outsiders, potential that the approval could come as soon as January, right? We have BlackRock filing for ETH ETFs. There's a few subtle things going on around this, like crypto sentiment, right? The market sentiment around crypto that is essentially telling us like, hey, there's a few bullish catalysts going on here. We might as well continue to pack our bags, hold the bags, and add our shares of Glxy, right? So we have this massive pop now, right? We went from, just in 3 weeks, we went from 490 to, call it 933. That's the highest it's gone. Now, I apologize, 850, like around 860 was the highest. What could happen from here, right? Well, what do you think's going to happen, right? If you look at this stock, the characteristics and the trends that have been performing on this stock or playing out for us, it's really straightforward. We battle an above resistance. Oh wow, my computer's lagging. We battle above a resistance, right? We battle this zone. We break above it. Now, as we break above it, we might need to retest that zone. It's simple, right? So we break above here. We might need to come back into this 560 range, make sure that's support, and then work our way up. So as you can see, this $5.60, $5.80 range. Look how much time we spent trying to break that zone, okay? What do you think is going to happen in this range? Right, so we're now in the 816, call it 860 range. The $8 zone, okay? Let's call it that, plain and simple. What do you think is going to happen? we're going to need time to break this down. It's not going to just, we're not going to just moon to $14. The likelihood of that happening is low, in my opinion. What's more likely to happen, in my opinion, is we pop like we did, and now we spend a few weeks consolidating. This is what a great consolidation will look like, where we hold these price levels, right? And we slowly weaken it down, and then we break above, okay? In my opinion, on a weekly time frame, this is going to be our best scenario, best case scenario, okay? Now let's step back for a sec. Let's assume that the worst case scenario is going to happen. Okay, this is what I think is the worst case scenario. We have this lower trend line that's still playing out. So let's draw it out just a bit and see what could potentially happen here, right? There's a few different things. This upper trend line of this wedge, right? Triangle, wedge, whatever you want to call it. We could come back, retest that zone. That would bring us back down to the 617, 615 range, okay? $6 range, okay? So we might get a back test of that trend line before we come back up and battle this zone here, okay? That could potentially happen. Or we could come back and test that lower trend line, which means we would come back into this $5 zone, 525, 530 zone, 540, and develop another higher low before we come back into that range. And if that were to happen, we would be creating, I'm going to delete some of this stuff out of the way so we could see. If that were to happen, we would be creating an absolute massive ascending triangle. So this is another situation that could happen, okay? This is what we need to pay attention to. We're getting super excited, as we should, because there's a bunch of these catalysts that could, affect the stock. But let's think bigger picture. We're still in the midst of great opportunity. Let's gather as much shares as we can in this range, because eventually when we above this zone, okay, let's look at the volume profile on the stock. Okay, we're already in the money, right? As I mentioned before, check the previous videos on Glxy, right, that I've posted. Okay, the thesis is 100% still intact. So when we're looking at this stock, if this is the pattern that's about to happen, look how much above here, right? Above all this, there's no resistance above this. So our next zone right here is this 830 zone, right? Exactly this golden line that I've highlighted, and it's been highlighted for months now. That zone is our new $5.40, $5.50 range. We need to beat this now, and it's going to take some time. But this ascending triangle is the massive pattern that will be developing and will bring us right back up into this $20 zone, okay? After this plays out, there's going to be a massive pump. So why I say that is because the lack of resistance, the lack of supply above that range. The most supply we're going to have to battle with, again, is now about this $8.30 zone, okay? Glxy Squad, we back, baby, and we live. Let's go.